One of the questions that I had and others have as I'm talking about PalFish is, what does a trial class look like? What's expected of me? And is this something that I can actually do? And I think the answer to all those questions is simply yes. And I wanted to provide a small video to give you an idea of what one does look like and what to kind of expect when you're doing it. Keep in mind that these students, as well as their parents, are paying for a service. So you don't want to skip through the slides or be quick about it. You want to take your time. You are there for the student, and you're trying to help them speak and enunciate the English words correctly. And you have a little bit of fun about it too. So an initial slide that normally we'll see is you will have a welcome, and normally this teacher's video and student's video. On the phone app, generally the teacher's video is up on the top left and the student's video is on the top right. It does remind me of a type of Instagram or FaceTime feel to it. This is generally on the bottom of the screen, and this is what can be seen by both the student and the teacher. The TG is the teacher's guide, and this will actually play out a little bit initially when you come upon a slide. And what this does is it just guides you into what you should be able to say and gives you the idea of what is expected of the student. Sometimes you will see this little play icon also on the slide. When you click it, a little bit of a music jingle as well as a song will play. Now, as I made reference to this teacher's video and student's video, you can slide these down onto the screen and give it a little bit of a perception that you are the apple and the student is the grape, saying hello to each other when it starts. On this particular slide is talking about fruit. So again, your teacher's guide will play on the bottom of the screen, only viewable to you as a teacher. But you have the ability to come in here and draw on this picture, like doing circles around the apple. Do you see an apple? Do you see a bird? Do you see a fish? Those type of deals. And kind of discuss the fruit. Other people also I've seen have props, and you can also utilize the props in the camera view, because keep in mind, both you and the student are viewing each other real time as you're talking to each other going through these slides. So the next slide will be introduction to the apples and bananas. Again, you do circles around each of the fruit, asking the student to reply back or enunciate the fruit correctly. Or sometimes you can also say, "What is this?" and you have them provide the full sentence in English. This is an apple, that is a banana, etc. Next slide will just be more of the same. It's just a reiteration of the major words that the slide presentation is attempting for the student to learn. As you can see here again, the apple is very much in here, and this will continue on for each of the slides. Each of them will have a teacher's guide to kind of give you an idea of what to go through. You can barely see in the back here, but there are specific questions that you want to ask the student and have them replay back to you. This one here, you can also say a big and small to also give it a little bit more context as far as the slides and the presentation is going. But you would basically spend 1 or 2 minutes per slide. Some slides actually take longer than others. Sometimes they would be difficult for the student to do. It just depends. You can also have an idea how much longer you have. As you notice here, it's 10 of 22 slides. You do have a timer that's up here on the top as you're going through this, so you need to be conscious of that 25-minute session. There was one time that I actually went a little bit too fast, and so that told me immediately that I'm going to have to start slowing down and giving a little bit more meat into the slide presentations. See, here we go again with the apple, small apple, a large apple. and have them repeat back to you those specifics. Additionally, they also have little games on these slide presentations for the trial classes. So in a situation like this, it might tell you which one it's looking for. So you would have a little message on the bottom, have the student choose the grapes. And when the student with his finger touches on the grapes, then you'll get a little ding that will basically state that yes, that is correct, and a little animation is done for it. Another example of a game that's playing, you click on the start button and this will go around, and then one of these slides will become bigger, where you can ask the student, what do you see? And they would reply back in full English sentence, I see an apple, or that is a fish. Play that a couple of times just to give the student kind of a break as far as the monotone lesson, and has a little more animation to it and everything. I have to say, on the side, PalFish has done this really well. They provide the slides, they provide you a good scenario on what to do, what's expected of, and it does break it up pretty well with the games, albeit the games are a little bit more toward the end of the slide presentation. But by then, believe it or not, even within a 15-minute session, these kids do get a bit bored. But then again, you also have students from anywhere from the age of, as long as I've seen, 3 all the way up. And this is more of a pre-K level, to give you an idea. But from what I can tell thus far, all the slide presentations work similarly the way. You have a teacher's guide that gives you a little bit of explanation. Here again is another card game. They would click upon a card and then tell you what is that card. Also, and another example is you can do drawings on this. You can have them try to color the fruit. You can circle the fruit, ask them what that fruit is. Again, small and large, and just also draw on a drawing board as well. And then here again on the following slide, we see again just a reiteration of the main words, just to summarize everything that we've learned through the slide presentation. The other thing that I want to point out too is throughout the presentation you have the ability to present stars to the student. You can do up to 5 stars per presentation. So that's another incentive to kind of gain the attention. And if the student is doing very well, then by all means, I generally start getting these stars to them. And it's interesting because that gives their attention, and they're also receiving something in return for their work. The other thing that's also that you can't see on the slide is you have the ability to choose those little bitty IRs, and that can be anything from that makes it look like you have a hat on you, or an apple, or a grape, and those are used a lot as well because you may not have the prop, but at least you can use that computer animation, that VR, to gain that on your face on the video feeds, just for an extra incentive to gain their attention as well. And then one more little deal just to reiterate once more time, and then at the end of all presentations, normally there's always again a little play icon that you click to say goodbye with a little goodbye song. And again, you can bring down those video feeds to indicate one and the other. So that's it in a nutshell. That's what one of them looks like. That's how it kind of plays out. So I hope this presentation provides you at least an idea of what it is, what it looks like, and what is expected of you. If you have any questions or concerns, you can always reach out to me through my website at matco.us, or any links on the YouTube that this may be presented on.